Hi, I'm John T. Hardy, and I am the CEO of Design Street. And we are based in Kent Street in the city. And we're a small boutique independent agency that works on nice large clients.
Great. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about Design Street and who you work for and what you do as a business.
Yeah, so we've been around for 25 years, so it's been a long stint, and we've along the journey picked up some really awesome clients. One of our biggest ones is American Express, who we've had for 18 years. And our core focus, and I guess our core 5 areas that we focus into is around the branding, content, digital marketing, and video. And from a team point of view, we're a team of 10. And we then bring in our freelancers as we need the support. So we'd look for video content and creating all kinds of cool videos. We'd look to the creative guys and your company, Wayne, and supports us in all kinds of animation or pulling video content together, pulling a podcast like this together. So we buddy up with agencies and freelancers when we need to. But a very strong core 10 people that we have here in the studio.
Just a little bit like on the type of projects that you guys deliver. What's some of the projects that you've been working on recently? I know that you guys did the Government New South Wales campaign and recently done some work for FIFA. What are you working on at the moment that really excites you?
Yeah, I mean, that's the exciting bit about working in an agency is that, each day is a new day and completely different day, and you don't know what's going to get thrown at you. So, as mentioned, we work with Amex and we do a lot of their EEM and digital work, which gives us a really good platform to go to other companies and to explore, how can we help them, provide them with marketing solutions that might work for them. But yeah, as you mentioned, we got the FIFA World Cup, the Women's World Cup that's going on at the moment. Go the Matildas. Seem to be going really well, and hopefully they can get all the way. But that was an exciting campaign. We got to dress up Sydney. We did all the tram wraps. We did the airport displays. We did all kinds of digital assets and social media stuff. So it was a really exciting project for our studio. With a project like that, you get handed a 170-page guideline from FIFA, which you have to adhere to, you have to read through. On top of that, then there's a Sydney one, which is probably 70 pages. So you have to then localize that creative and make sure it's working. And you can't sort of cut corners. You have to go through that exact guideline to make sure that you're adhering to it all. Otherwise, the creative could look slightly off, or the creative doesn't go through smoothly. And we know with football or soccer is that kickoff time is not going to wait for you. So you have to get the artwork right. And then we ran the New South Wales electoral campaign, which was a huge success as well. We got to do all the outdoor sort of advertising, the creative part of it, worked with agencies to do the media and all that kind of stuff. But, we've had a couple of really nice wins. And then obviously all the work that we do day in, day out for our major client, American Express and Nespresso. It's just been a really steady flow and lots of exciting stuff in the pipeline, which I'm happy about.
Right, that's amazing. What is the purpose of Design Street?
Yeah, so I mean, ultimately, we exist to help solve our clients' marketing problems, and we provide creative solutions that work. We're, as I said before, a core team of 10, and we love applying our unique skills to, help our customers and to get them the artwork and the creative that they need. So, as a small agency, and we wouldn't almost consider ourselves to be too small. We almost entering into that slightly larger kind of phase. But we've got to focus on our key clients, and we've got to make sure that the creative is really good. And through persistence and through great work, we often see project by project they seem to come back, and it really works for us.
And what about yourself at an individual level? What is your kind of purpose? Do you feel like, what are you striving for within Design Street and personally?
Yeah, so I mean, if I had to rewind back a little bit, I started out in bigger agencies. So I was going into, well, I was with the Clemenger Group for a little bit, and then I went into Aegis Media, which gave me great exposure into all the kinds of processes and the different clients that we worked on. And then after a certain period, I came into the boutique kind of small marketing agency, which has been really, really fun. Lots of challenges in there, but you also get to be exposed to larger brands, larger clients. And I would say that you get to get all kinds of opportunities to work on your craft, whether you're a designer or an account manager. So I went through the big kind of agencies, then to the small agencies. And after a period of time, I guess I took over running the agency. I understood all the operations of the business, understood exactly how the financial side of it works, and also doing a lot of the new business. So we've got Sam, who's our account director, who leads our account managers, and Mick, who's our art director. He leads the studio guys. And for me, I kind of sit and go and find new business, make sure that our clients are happy, overserviced, looking for new opportunities consistently to make sure that we continue growing, and then also giving the team all kinds of creative work, which ultimately builds their experience, builds their portfolio, and that, I guess, is the end goal.
An interesting point that you mentioned about, developing your craft. Would you say like it's good to work at a bigger agency to develop, or would you say it's better to work at a smaller agency, or is it a mixture of the two combined?
I think it really depends. So working at a bigger agency, you get to see big business, and you get to see, I guess, layers in an organization and how that works. Getting into a small agency is there's plenty of opportunities there as well, where you get hands-on experience straight away. So in a big agency, you might have to go through the motions a little bit more, where in a smaller agency, you get to go straight into it and you get to touch on the client straight away. So there's definitely pros and cons of both, but both, I think, are very essential to the learning and the development of people coming through the industry and wanting to, learn a little bit more. I think it is up to the individual what they pick. If they're wanting to go larger, or if they're wanting to go more boutique, there's definitely benefits both sides.
Yeah. As I look back 10, 13 years ago, and I started at a small agency, and I got so much hands-on experience. I was dealing with clients, albeit just like small design changes and tweaks to things. And I was working under a senior guy called Sam Potter, who was an absolute legend. Then my stint at Omnicom, where I was given, so much exposure and autonomy to work with even bigger clients and work with people who are, senior within the team, like board directors. So I think it really helps you understand business working across the both. For me, I think a mixture of both personally for me was a great mix. And then now we're obviously having a small startup. All the things that I've learned from big and small agencies has allowed me to do what we're doing today.
I think so, yeah. And I think just during that time, I know you and I, Wayne, we've chatted in the past just about patience, and doing that time and learning and asking questions is so important to your development. You can go into an agency and you can sit there on Facebook or Instagram and scroll through whatever you want to scroll through. But if you're not going and you're not hungry and you're not looking to learn and grow, what's really the point? You want to get as much out of it. It's sometimes I think of it as a free university or a paid university, because you are going into a company and you're learning all these skills, and at the same time you're getting a salary. So that's how sometimes I think about it is it's the place to learn, it's the place to grow. Take as much as you can when you are in those positions, because those companies are hiring you to come in and do some really great work, and for you then to go as a a person growing into an agency or into a company is to really take it with two hands and make it your own. You know, we have staff members, all of my staff members here who are absolutely gunning for it. They're wanting to know what else can we do? What's our next client? You know, pushing me as well, saying, hey, can we go into a slightly different direction and go find a client of X, you know, which could give us exposure to Y. And I think that's really important that those people are showing that they're eager. I mean, you can hold a board meeting or like a meeting with all of your staff and you can tell them till you're blue in the face what you want. But if you're not on the same wavelength and they don't believe in your vision and your structure, it's not going to come out. So it does take time, even for me, to work that out and to say, hey, I've got to be patient, and there's going to be people who are going to come on this journey with me, and I've got to pick those people. And I feel like I've picked a great group of 10 people who are on this journey, and that's what it's all about.
Definitely agree with the team at Design Street. Everyone there is super, super lovely and really nice. Great. So along the journey then, I'm sure there's been some challenges and rewards. What are to you, what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced as an individual and business?
Yeah, and I guess we hang our hat on the fact that we can turn around stuff really, really quickly. We agile, we fast. It is a selling point for us. You know, when you do look at some of the different agencies and bigger agencies, we try and compete with you know, the speed to market. And where we find it competitive is we have to go up against those agencies. And, you know, in those big agencies, they have great client kind of directors, but then also the creative side is you've got amazing art directors, creative directors, people who are very experienced coming up against your creative. So we have to push ourselves and say, hey, we have to step up to that level to be able to compete. And with that, you know, people are expecting fast turnaround. Think about when you order a pair of Nikes, you are expecting those Nikes to be, you know, with you within, you know, 2 to 3 days or 4 days, or I'm not sure what the timelines are these days, but people's mindsets is set on, hey, I need to get this really, really quickly. And that kind of translates into work as well, is we have to turn the work around really, really quickly. And if we don't, we then can't really go out to market and say, hey, we're a fast, agile agency. So, you know, with time comes pressure, and we feel that from time to time, but we've also then got, as we said, great partners like you guys, like all the different types of finance partners that we use. We partner up, and you can latch onto really, really good people who can help you get through those, call them testing times. Yeah. But for the majority of it, you know, if we come in and, as I said before, if the team are all aligned and everyone knows their role, we use a platform called Scoro, and that kind of like sets up the guy's day, and everyone knows exactly what they're doing. And if everything's clear, I think it's easy to combat those challenges that we do have. And then again, like the constant changing in the economy. I mean, you just have to put on the news to know, are we going into a recession? Are we not going into a recession? What's the house price doing? There's a lot going on, and a lot of people out there who are watching, you know, closely as to what the economy is going to do. And then you've got the ever-evolving AI, which is out there. You know, we go onto LinkedIn, we see it nonstop. And, you know, a few people would get spooked and go like, oh, am I going to lose my job? Or what's going to happen with the design? But, you know, I talked to our art director quite in depth about this, Mick. And, you know, he says, look, when Photoshop came in, when all those different creative tools came in, people thought the same thing. But you got to get to learn them, and you've got to get to know what they are. And you don't necessarily have to change your agency into an AI agency, but you do need to use those tools, and you need to stay abreast on top of what is out there in the market, and be cautious, you know, at the same time. Don't rush into it. There's another word about the patience, you know, you just watch it evolve, stay on top of it. It's not going anywhere. So it is going to be the future, and there is going to be a lot of AI coming into the mix. But any advice that I give to younger generation that are coming through is load up your learning on that stuff. You know, get to know it. You know, get into your university classes and talk to each other about it. A weekly meeting in Design Street where we ask everyone to bring one cool AI tool that they've seen or learnt about. And we've integrated one or two tools within the agency already. So one which works really, really well is a meeting sort of recording device that you can send to Zoom. And basically at the end of the meeting, you are left with an executive summary of what the meeting was about, and it goes into the action points. And so there is so many different tools floating around there. I think it is to pick the right ones that are going to suit your business, your agency, or even as a freelancer, what's going to help you kind of get forward and get ahead of this whole AI game.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to hear that you guys are utilizing it as well to help streamline what's happening at Design Street. I think Gary V, really famous entrepreneur, who I follow and have followed for many years, he said that businesses should be using AI now. Don't wait and don't watch what's happening. Start getting involved and use it, because, you know, to Mick's point about Photoshop, it's only going to keep evolving. And I think that we just need to use it and embrace it and not worry about the fact that people might lose jobs or anything like that. Because one thing humans are great at is kind of molding and shaping to the future. And we'll find there'll be other jobs that pop up, and AI will take over minutes that might have been done by a human before. It's actually probably saves us time and is going to be a benefit.
Exactly right. And I mean, you can't beat it once you do have a group of 10 people in your boardroom and you're talking ideas. I mean, AI is one thing, but you cannot break that human interaction of an idea might come from, say, even an intern who might be working with us, who has come fresh out of university and has heard all kinds of things and says something. It sparks a great idea that I still feel there's a lot in that whole human connection, and that's what we are doing as well, is just making sure the guys are coming in 3 days a week and we're talking ideas and sharing things. And I think it's really, really healthy as well, is to get into those agencies, go and learn of the art directors, go ask those questions, because they really will shape, your development and where you want to go for your future.
One way that I'm using AI at the moment is to help me with writing, because I'm not strong at that at all. I've never really been a good writer. So for me, it's helping me to write like stuff for our business. One example is that writing blogs. Like for me, I can write the ideas, and then I get ChatGPT to support me with writing the bulk of it, and then I can then craft it how I would talk normally. And I think that is saving me so much time. I think
exactly right. Exactly right. And I think that's the beauty of it, is use those tools to your advantage and get familiar with them, and know that they're not going away and they're going to be there for the agencies to use. And you've got to use them to your advantage. As you say, I do the same stuff. Is I try and blog, and I get stumped a little bit with writing, but if you can get a small framework and then you can tailor it. And again, there's that human approach, is that you do need that human side still to come in, refine what you're saying. There might be a couple of small errors that have popped out of the AI that you didn't really want to be saying. So you've got to manipulate it. You've got to stay current and true to yourself as well. Is you don't just want to be copying things and creating things that aren't, I guess, yours. You want to make them, original and have a flair to your agency and your feel and your brand. So that's how I'm seeing it at the moment.
What about some of the rewards that have come out of working at Design Street?
Yeah, biggest reward for me is that we work with like-minded people. So the guys come in, we're all on the same wavelength. We're nimble and agile, which again makes things easier to kind of get out the door, but creates a little bit of stress if there is time pressure in there. But working with my team has been awesome. Particularly last few years, we've really felt the growth. But then also the rewards are working with major clients. We work with American Express, Nespresso, Dell, NBN, Vocus, New South Wales Government, and Destination New South Wales with its FIFA account. And the reason why we're winning nice large clients is because we come in really, really passionate about it, and we're really, really focused. We have our small talk and a little bit of fun along the way, definitely. But you have to be, when you're going and talking to a big client who's a blue chip client, you can't be kind of taking it like a joke. You've got to actually focus, understand what they're saying. They've got marketing problems, and they're coming to you for a solution. So if you don't provide them with that professionalism and that next level kind of feeling, there's plenty of other agencies that they can start to engage with. So that's our whole mantra, is just to go for it, make sure that we are over servicing our clients, making them feel that we have their brand at the heart of what we do, and then we can celebrate this together. So you talk about rewards, we celebrate, all kinds of birthdays, team lunches. Each Thursday we go down to the wing house and we smash on a couple of wings and just enjoy it as well, is because there's obviously a lot of work that goes into it, but if you don't stop to have a little bit of fun along the way, then I think you're overdoing it a little bit.
What's the best piece of advice, and what's the worst piece of advice that you have been given by somebody else?
I guess the best piece of advice is kind of what I was talking about again, about being patient. So, when I was a bit younger and going through account manager roles and learning my way through it, is I just wanted to get to the next step. When am I going to become a senior account manager, or when am I going to become an account director? And, some of the guys that were training me in a sense, or managing me, just told me how it was, in terms of like, this is where we at, this is where you need to get to. And there's two ways you can go about it. You can either resist that and say, oh, those guys don't know what they're talking about, and you just completely fold, or you say, okay, let me take this on board, and let me see what I can do or change and tweak, which could get me to my next position. But the patience game is really, really important in agency world as well. Is you're not going to just fly up the ladder into a art director position or a account director position. And even if you do, what can be really, really uncomfortable is you get into that position, and then the CEO or the managing director might say, okay, well, that's your position, then pop over to the client and you'll be taking the meeting. And that could get really, really intense, or really, really scary, or whatever that might be, because the legwork hasn't been done and the time hasn't been done. And I think that's really critical for people's development, is to say, hey, let me take a breath, let me just get myself straight, and let me be patient about the fact that this is a longer journey. And if I try and rush it, it's just not going to be beneficial to me. It's just going to actually have the opposite effect. You can get all kinds of feelings of resentment or whatever might come along with it. You might be put on the spot and you can't answer a question. You feel like you're letting down the company, whatever that might be, is just to be patient. So that was probably the best piece of advice. And the worst piece of advice, maybe saying, hey, we are set and we've got enough clients. And to me, that's never an option. Is you've got to be chasing business. You've got to be chasing it every single day. You've got to be contacting your current clients, your prospects. You've got to be looking for the next opportunity that's hanging there waiting for you, because there's so much opportunity, particularly in Australia. The opportunities everywhere. It's just, you've got to be talking to people, meeting with people, showing people really, really great work. And that's how it comes about for agencies.
Absolutely. And just circling back to that, building on your part about being patient and being, getting into uncomfortable situations. I was actually having a one-to-one with Jen the other day, and I was away for a month, so I was on different time zones, but still working and supporting the team. And Jen was saying how she felt like really uncomfortable, and I said that's good, because when we're uncomfortable, we're growing, and being uncomfortable allows us to learn almost at like aggressive speed. And sometimes you feel like, oh, I don't want to be in a situation, but when you reflect on it, you can go, oh, actually, I learned so much, and that's allowed me to then grow into the next phase of being uncomfortable. And then you go into that phase of being uncomfortable, and then you learn loads, and then again you kind of come back to being comfortable again, and then you're pushed, and you're constantly pushing yourself to grow as an individual. And I think that's such a good thing for people to be doing, and getting out of their comfort zone and growing into those roles. Or if you're learning, like for me, I'm learning a new language, and it's at times super frustrating, because you're like, oh, I thought I knew that word, or I thought I knew how to say that sentence, and then you're like, oh no, I said it wrong. And then you're like, it's frustration and pain. But then if I look back on where I was 6 months ago, it's like, I didn't even know the language. I didn't even know how to say hello. But now I've learned so much. So you're constantly in that cycle of being uncomfortable, being comfortable, and
Exactly. We call it here growing pains, within the agency, and I've seen a lot of it. Quick story just to tell you, like when we got approved for one client to work on a client, is I was so excited. I was clapping my hands. Yes, we're going to get this, and this is going to be great. And so I picked up the phone and I called 30 of those kind of new business calls, call them that way, and just introducing us. Hey, we've been approved. We're on this kind of panel now, and we can help you with XYZ. And I got a 30 out of 30 decline rate, so did not get 1 out of 30. And the motivation goes down a bit, but also that's part of that growing pain that we were talking about. And what I've done and what I've grown since then is I've probably tailored my approach a bit better. So maybe not being so direct on the call, or softening them up with a bit of an ad before I actually talk to them, or seeing that they've looked at my LinkedIn, or seeing that they've kind of visited 1 or 2 of the ads that we popped up on LinkedIn. It kind of introduces the process a little bit more softly. You're not so direct, but that was a growth kind of phase that I had to go through, that although I was so hungry for it and I got 0 out of 30, it didn't really matter, because most people are going to come across that, where maybe their artwork will get a no-go from a client, or something, is not to get disheartened, because if you just fold and you just give up, then you ultimately are just kind of giving away what your passion is. And your thing might be really, really good, and your design might be really, really good, and it's just someone who's subjective about what it is at that point in time. It's not to worry about it, because some clients might love it, other clients might not like it, or just think that that's not right for this time. And that's totally okay too, because they know their brand, they know what they want, and you've got to respect that too. So you will fall down a couple of times, but I think there's a saying that I always used to think about. What is it? A true hero is not one who succeeds but rises once he has fallen. I think I read it once, and it's a great saying, because no one just goes up into a hero status. Even for me, I'm learning, I'm falling down, I'm getting back up, I'm looking around, who can I learn from. We had a couple of clients over last night to the agency, and straight away I was thinking, oh, I wish I could have this client as a bit of a mentor for me. And so all the time I'm learning, and I've already done, I don't even know, it must be 18 or 20 years in the agency world, but I just want to know, how do I become better, and how do I know more, and how do I learn more. And I think that's the growing pains. And it's not nice sometimes, but when you do get it and you do then tick a box, it feels really, really good.
So what's next for Design Street?
Well, we are going through a really exciting phase. We pitching nonstop, and going into new clients, find new clients, and we obviously are keeping our existing clients, and servicing as best we can to make sure that we hit the mark there. But we want to grow the team, not rapidly where we suddenly are blown out the park and there's so much to kind of manage. It's a slow process, and we are looking at all kinds of different industry verticals as well, where we're going to explore. And then also all that AI stuff that's coming through is to get our guys involved with those tools, and making sure that we're current. And yeah, I think that's kind of where we're seeing Design Street go into the future.
Amazing. It's an exciting time. I look back 5-6 years to when we first started working together, and what was it, like a team of maybe 6 to 7?
Yeah.
And now it's grown to a team of 10, and all of this work that you guys have picked up over the years. It's been great to see that big brands and corporations are coming to Design Street, because you're such a trusted and reliable source. And I think any client that comes to you guys knows that they're going to get the quality and the service that they want, that
For sure.
perhaps the bigger agencies aren't necessarily providing. I think big agencies are struggling at the moment, especially the big creative agencies. I don't know whether you're seeing this, but I'm post COVID. I think a lot of people have become entrepreneurial in a sense, and everyone's trying to set up a business of some sort. So people have quit their jobs and gone as a independent, so to speak. And then we're also seeing micro kind of businesses pop up. So, you know, I'd probably class Cureative as a micro kind of business at the moment, where it was just me and I built a team out, but we're delivering work at scale now, where before perhaps the creative agencies would have been doing the work, but I feel that they're just bogged down with so much from their clients and they're not able to respond. They're not able to be agile enough because of those layers that they've got.
Yeah.
Whereas similar to Design Street, I suppose there are no layers really. A client comes to you directly and they say, we've got a big brief. Can you get it done for us? You'll turn around and say, yes, no problem. And I think that's one of the things that sets Design Street apart from the rest of the kind of agencies that are out there, right?
Definitely. And I mean, that's where we do fit in, is we come in and we help. I mean, how I almost look at it is we help those bigger agencies when, you know, say they've got a few EDMs that they just can't get to, and you know, we are the filler agency and we help because they play such an important role in the big ideas and big campaigns that they do, and they do really, really amazing work. Like, you know, some of the strategy and the thought and all the creative that goes into it. You know, if you were a youngster going into, you know, big agency world, you're going to see a lot, and you're going to see some really, really epic stuff. So they play their role, but you know, how we play our role is we small, we nimble, we want to make it happen. And that's our strong point, is just playing on your strong points. And even if you're a freelancer and you find what is your strong point, you might be a coder or you might be a graphic designer, and you know that you are really, really good at a certain something, is exploit that and go for it and make that who you are. And that's what we do, is we found our agility and our creativity, our longevity of our staff, our account management and the service that we provide. Those are the things that are leading to more projects. And I think there is so much difference between the big and the small. And, you know, I think it's a healthy relationship or a healthy competition that's out there, because the big clients that we deal with, they need those big agencies to do that big overarching strategy and concept. And we know that. But they also need small little agency to come in and help out when things are tight.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's a good balance, you know, and for the client as well, to say, big creative agency over here, Design Street, so to speak, and then we've got like executional partners that we know we can turn to, and just to get stuff done and rolled out.
Exactly.
What is the importance of building genuine relationships for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been at the heart of what we do, or my philosophy anyway, is, you know, no matter who it is, if it's, you know, the client or your partner, or even say the person who comes and manages the building, or could be a cleaner or whoever it might be, is to treat everyone with respect, and treat everyone with the same level of respect that you treat, say, a client, is to really respect your partners, respect your suppliers. Because as soon as you start to get a little bit nasty or anything like that towards a supplier or partner, the next time you want them to bail you out of a situation, they're not going to come and throw you that line. So you've got to be really great. Like, you're going to meet those people on the way up, and no doubt you're going to meet those people on the way down. So really, really focus on your relationships. Be good, kind to people. You know, go and surprise and delight not only your clients, but surprise and delight maybe the cleaner or the agency that you partner with. Make, you know, everyone around you feel good. And I think that's really, really important in business, because it rubs off onto your team, and then it rubs off onto your clients, is that you in the background are doing good stuff, you know. And I think relationships drive everything. I think of how we have grown business, it's, you know, often is when a client leaves a certain company and they move to a new company, they take us with them. And the reason they're taking us with them is not only is the creative's great, but it's also they want that relationship, and they want to know that there's someone there that they can trust. So important is, particularly, you know, if people are coming into the workforce relatively new, is start those relationships early. Don't burn bridges with people. You know, there's going to be times where you just want to take a big breath and just say, hey, you know, that wasn't so bad. I've got through that, and I didn't burn a relationship, because as soon as you start burnt, people will talk, people will know you for that, where you want to be known for someone who's genuine, who cares about you, cares for your brand, and is going to do really, really great things.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Absolutely. It's so important. I think, I don't think Cureative or myself would be in the situation that we are today, had I not had strong, genuine relationships. I think a lot of people, like from my perspective, people trust me and our business to help them when times are tough. I often get emails last minute, or the other week I had a CEO of a company call me, and he was like, "We're in trouble. Designers let us down. Can you help us to get this deck done?" So I'm rallying the troops, and Jen, my colleague, and another freelancer I think we used, who I've worked with for many, many years and who I trust, to rally around and get the job done. And it was a very quick, 24-hour turnaround type situation. But, it was for like a multi-million-dollar pitch. And I think, he's coming to me because he's in trouble and he needs the support. And I think that if we didn't have that genuine relationship, Cureative wouldn't really exist.
Exactly right. I mean, you've bailed us out of so many situations. We solely, I guess, turn towards you guys when it comes to video, and because we trust you, and we've got those big brands that we are like. American Express is a big brand, and we can give those videos to you guys at the stage where you guys take over, and not only do them on time, but do them really, really well. And if there is an issue, it's great that I can pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Wayne, really have to get this back to tonight. I'm really, really sorry." And there's never really been a time where you roll your eyes or you say, "Oh, being unreasonable," because we get it, and it relates back to what I was talking about. That's a genuine relationship. Is we trust you completely with our brand, and our brand works for big brands. And I think you guys should also, really look at that and go like, well, that's a real great thing, is that this agency, Design Street, can trust us so much with some serious brands. And you guys have done such great work, not only on the Amex work, but across multiple different brands that we have. We only turn to you guys, and I think it's just so awesome, the relationship that we've built for so long.
So what is the importance for you with regards to taking time out, and what does that look like?
For business, you go and you go hard. You really put yourself or throw yourself into the deep end, and you start swimming. With COVID that came in, and that's obviously in the past, which is great news. But during that time, plus then I guess a year or two, so it would be probably about a 4-year period. I kind of didn't stop during the year. I'd always take my Christmas break and have a little bit of time, 2 weeks or so around that time. But I do have a trip booked to Fiji, which I'm going on Monday for 1 week, and that is because I have been talking to people and talking to mentors and talking to others like you, Wayne, who reiterate the fact that yes, there's time for that slog, and it is hard, and it really, really takes it out of you, but you're not going to be as effective. And I think that's what I was finding. You slowly start to burn out a little bit, and luckily for myself, I didn't burn out too hard, but I was going really, really guns blazing. And then, as I was mentioning before, for the past 6 months, I feel like we've really got our team in place where I've been able to say, okay, now I'm going to take a bit of time out. So, taking that time out, I think I'll report back to you in about a week or two, just on how that was, and types of music I was listening to and relaxing. But I kicked myself a little bit, is that I probably went a little bit too hard through those 4 years, but have made relevant changes. And I think that's also up to people to know their limits. Some people can handle it and go for it for years and years and years. Other people need to have a break, and I think as managers and management, they should also look at that and understand that each person is a little bit different. So someone might get really, really stressed and be really, really in a bit of a rut, and you've got to listen to that and hear that out, and understand that that person might need a small break. And we try to push Mick to take a break, but he just never does. He's just absolutely committed to the role. And he tells me that his break or his holidays when he finishes work for the evening and also on the weekends. So that's pretty impressive. But as I said, there's so many different people out there. Some people can really like push through it and, you know, go for it as hard as they can, but there's no fail on anyone's part if they say, hey, I'm putting up the white flag, I need to take a bit of time out. And I think it's important that people do take that time out and really focus on themselves. Go relax, you know, go swimming, go do whatever you love.
What's this idea around fishing, or this concept around fishing?
Yes. So I'm glad you asked, because I even heard it in one of your responses. You said continually reeling in, you know, and so it is a thought pattern that I think agencies and whether it's a small freelancer, one-man band, or medium-sized, whatever they might be, is using the notion of fishing as like the algorithm of how it all works. So what I'd like to think about it is, you're sitting on a boat, you're being patient, and you're sitting there waiting for a bite. And when you do get a bite, you get excited and you feel like, oh, what is it? Is it small? Is it big? Is it going to be great to eat, or whatever it might be? You know, there's the notion of that. But then also where you go and fish. So you might want to go and find a big fish, and that means a big client. So what you've got to do is make sure that all of your hooks and all of your lines and everything's tight and the bait's really, you know, tied up correctly, and then you can pop it in there and you've probably got a better chance of catching a big fish. Where, you know, if your bait isn't good bait, or it isn't tied on properly, or, you know, those are the little things that maybe your programs that you are using aren't really the state of the art, or you are you know, a little bit edgy or nervous or whatever it might be, and you're just not ready for it. Like, you've got to just be confident that you've got your knots tight, and that you're going to land a big fish, because those big fish are what you want. You know, no one's going out fishing looking for goldfish. You know, you're looking for a big fish. And once you do land your big fish, you've got to then go super hard at servicing that big fish and making sure that that big fish is happy, you know. And that's how I think a lot of my thinking in business comes around. The concept of fishing is just go out there, throw your line out, and, you know, if you don't catch that big fish, guess what? There's probably a medium size. Even if it is a small fish, there are going to be fish out there, and you're going to be able to catch them. But if you don't throw that line out, you're not going to catch anything.
Yeah. It's funny how you look at business in that way, because I used to play football at quite a high level in the UK, and I've always treated business as though, and I've always looked at it from that perspective. So I always say to the guys, you know, you should treat yourself as an athlete and think to yourself, I've got 60 years to work and to develop myself, and the same in business. So you're constantly doing skills, doing drills, teaching yourself and learning as much as you can. And that's similar to a professional footballer who would be doing sprints and runs and learning new ball tricks, or whatever the case may be. And I've always said to the guys that you should treat yourself as an athlete and look after yourself like an athlete, you know, take rest days, taking time off. You know, those athletes are not playing football 24/7. They're training and then they're resting. They're training and then they're resting. And I say the same thing to the guys. And we actually brought in like a wellness to kind of force people to take time off when they're not feeling great. We actually brought in like a wellness day. So you take it as a sick day, but you can just put your hand up and say, I'm not feeling great. I need to take some time for myself. And it might be that you go, oh, I just want to take 4 hours out, take half day off. It just gives people a bit of flexibility to look after themselves and put their hands up. You know, like you said earlier about raising the white flag, it's like raise the white flag and take that time out and rest and recuperate and treat yourself like an athlete.
So good that you guys are doing that as well, and just, you know, looking after everyone. And, you know, we are you know, we're all on the same kind of page, and everyone wants to succeed and do well. And some people need different things, and I think it's so great that you guys do that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, that's probably about it, mate, I think.
Yeah, it was so nice to catch up with you and chat to you, and hopefully there's a bit of advice out there for some of the younger guys coming through. And yeah, I thank you for popping me on your channel, and also for all the support and the the genuine relationships that we've built over 5 or 6 years, and the outstanding work that you guys have done for us.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, and it's been a great journey, and I'm sure there's much more to come as we look forward to the years ahead.
Love it.
Legend, mate. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you jumping on and having a chat with me and with Wani.
Thanks so much, Juan. Thanks, Wayne, and yeah, we'll chat soon.